On cool desert nights, a scholar traces constellations in the sand. Speak of Timbuktu's ancient astronomers who mapped stars for kings and travelers. The desert wind hums like a distant song, the star watcher of Mali. Long ago, in the heart of the Mali Empire, nestled between the Sahara and the Atlantic Ocean, there lived an old man known as the Star Watcher. He was so called because every night he would climb to the highest point in the city, the minaret of the Jingureber Mosque, and chart the stars for anyone who would listen. People came from far and wide to hear his tales of constellations, stories passed down from the legendary astronomers of Timbuktu who had charted the stars for the great kings and travelers of old. One day a young prince heard about the Star Watcher and decided to seek him out. Like many, the prince wanted to know what secrets the stars held, but he also hoped to find guidance for his own life. As the sun beat down on the dusty streets, the prince approached the mosque. The Star Watcher, sitting at the base of the minaret, looked up and saw him coming. "You have come for the stars," the Star Watcher said, his voice raspy with age. The prince nodded eagerly. "I have traveled far to hear your tales. Then sit with me," the Star Watcher beckoned, "and I will tell you stories that will take us beyond the stars themselves." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the Star Watcher began his stories. He spoke of the Dogon people who were known to have charted the stars long before the ancient Egyptians. He told of how they created a calendar based on the cycles of the moon and how they used their knowledge of astronomy to predict the seasons and guide their agricultural practices. He described how the Tuareg nomads followed the stars for navigation, how they used the North Star to keep them on course across the endless dunes, and he explained how the constellations served as a celestial map, guiding them to hidden oases and safe havens along their trade routes. But it wasn't just about navigation. The Star Watcher explained that the constellations were a source of wisdom, each pattern of stars holding ancient stories and lessons. There was the story of the Pleiades, 7 sisters running from a suitor, forever trapped in the sky as a reminder to be wary of those who pursue you. Then there was Orion, the hunter, whose arrogance led to his demise, a cautionary tale of humility. As the night wore on, the prince listened intently, his mind expanding with each constellation the old man traced with his finger. But as the hours passed, a change came over him. He felt a stirring within himself, a realization that the lessons from the stars were not just stories, they were principles that could guide him through the challenges of his life. When the sky began to lighten with the approach of dawn, the prince interrupted the Star Watcher. "I have learned much tonight," he said, his voice filled with wonder, "but my mind races. How can I apply these lessons to my own life?" The Star Watcher smiled, his eyes twinkling like the stars above. "I, young prince," he said, "the stars do not hold answers, but questions. They test us, challenge us to reflect on our choices and actions." He pointed to Orion, the hunter, now low on the horizon. "Do you see his bow, how it points to the south?" The prince nodded. "Follow that direction and you will find the rising sun. Wherever you go, no matter how lost you feel, the stars will guide you back to where new beginnings await." The prince looked south towards the horizon. A new day was indeed dawning, not just in the sky, but in his understanding of the world. The Star Watcher continued, "And when you face challenges that seem insurmountable, look to the Pleiades. Those sisters, though scattered, are bound by their shared story. In your moments of difficulty, remember that you are not alone. Reach out to your kin, your friends, and together you will overcome any obstacle." The prince turned to the old man, his eyes shining with gratitude. "I feel a strength within me now, a determination to face whatever comes my way." As the first rays of sunlight touched the minaret, the Star Watcher rose to his feet. "Remember, young prince, the stars do not hold all the answers. They ask more of us than they give. They demand that we be brave enough to follow our path, humble enough to learn from our mistakes, and kind enough to help those who wander the same path as us." The prince watched as the Star Watcher disappeared into the mosque. The old man's words echoed in his mind, resonating with a truth that went beyond the stories of the constellations. The Star Watcher had not just been a teller of tales, but a guide, a mentor who had shown him how to read the signs of life from the patterns in the sky. The prince returned to his royal duties that day, but he was changed. He carried with him the wisdom of the ages, the guidance of the stars, and the memory of the old man who had shown him the way. The stories of the constellations became a part of him, shaping his decisions, guiding his steps, and reminding him of the strength that lay within him and the support of his people. Every night, when the sky blazed with a million stars, the prince would look up and smile. He remembered the lessons of the stars, the tales of the Dogon and the Tuareg, the stories of hubris and humility. And he knew that no matter what challenges awaited him, he was ready. For he was not just a prince, he was a son of the Mali Empire, a descendant of kings, and a learner of the stars. So my friends, I want to ask you, what did you learn from the story of the Star Watcher of Mali? And what is the most important lesson you've learned from someone else? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your stories might inspire others and create connections among us. If you found this tale from Mali enchanting, don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, where we bring you amazing stories from around the world. Until then, remember these words from the Star Watcher: no matter how lost you may feel, the stars will guide you back to where new beginnings awake. Be brave, be humble, and be kind. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and more loved than you know. And until we meet again in our next story, may the stars of Mali forever shine bright in your sky. This has been a tale from the Mali Empire, brought to you by our channel. If you enjoyed this story and want more, subscribe to our channel, and always remember, you are braver than you think, stronger than you feel, and more loved than you can imagine.